Hi, vacation rental owner or manager. If you want to have an easier time when installing furnishings into your property, listen in. I'll share what I take to every install day and some of these things you might not have heard of. Hi, vacation rental owner. Welcome to Step Up Your STR, the show about specialized decorating so that you can make max revenue from your vacation rental property. I'm Kara, and I've designed dozens of STRs, all of which charge in the top 10% of their area competitors and or make up to 153% more after working with me. This is the first podcast of 3 that is a series all about installation days and how to make them professional and efficient. All right. I know you've seen the beautiful styled after photos, online or in a magazine. They have the perfectly placed pillows, art hung at just the right height, and every room looks guest ready. But what you don't see is the trunk of my car. Which looks like, the trunk of my car does look like a cross between a hardware store and a cleaning supply aisle. But there are good reasons for that, is because I have some amazing tools that I take to install days with me. Now, install days have to be really organized. They're equal parts creativity, logistics, and chaos management. And I've learned over the years that having the right tools on hand, not just a hammer and screwdriver, the tools are what keep everything on track and let me finish strong. So whether you're a fellow designer, an STR owner trying to put together your own setup, or maybe just someone who works with furniture and you like to be prepared, this episode will give you my 10 or 12 non-negotiable install items. Also, check the description because I'm planning to share links to all of these things that I love and use and that I hope will make your life easier too. I've just been up to my eyeballs actually with install days. That's what made me think of sharing this information with you for the podcast. I will be showing things on video. This is a video podcast, so I think that most podcast platforms you can see it as video. If you would like, you could also watch it on YouTube. I will have the link to this YouTube video in the description. And if you're not seeing that right off, you can always find me at YouTube at VR Decor Kara. So that's VR as in vacation rental decor, Kara with a C, C-A-R-A, VR Decor Kara. Now, yes, I do have a great big, huge canvas bag, and this is what I carry everything in. It's really heavy duty and it has a lot of pockets. Okay, I do have a toolkit. My husband has a great big toolkit. He often will go with me on his days off and help out, which is so nice. I'll show you some of the things I have. Of course, hammer, needle nose pliers, measuring tape, and we take several measuring tapes with us because they're so easy to lose. Also, scissors, a level, just a really basic level. I have a nicer one in my husband's tool bag. Also, pencils. Pencils are just so handy to have when you need to mark, especially when you're hanging art or need to mark like a little spot on the floor where a piece of furniture needs to be centered, something like that. So this is my little tool bag. And you can see it's well used. This is just the real me here. Okay, next I have cord items. So what do I mean by cord items? Okay, first of all, outlet banks, extension cords. I use them in like every install, especially because a lot of the places I work on are older buildings up in Park City, Utah, and they've been there for a long time, and so they didn't have to have a lot of outlets, back 50 years ago. Okay, next, another cord thing is a cord hider kit, and I'm going to show you how this works. Let's See here, what looks really messy in online photos is to have cords strung out everywhere, coming out from behind a TV, or, just sticking out from behind where the TV stand is, and the cord goes all the way over, or a mess of cords. Oh, please just get some cord hiders. They are so easy to use. It slides like this. You can fit the cords inside, cover it up like this, tape it on the wall. Be sure to use a level. Whether or not you're going to tape it onto the wall, it comes with its own tape. Whether or not you're going to tape it vertically or horizontally, use a level. It makes it look really neat and nice. Okay, a few other cord items. This is like a cord bungee gathering. You can bundle cords together and tie them together so they're all in one neat spot, like if it's just under the bed. Next are these. These are cord plugs, excuse me, outlet plugs, and they're a little safety feature for children. So you just plug them into any outlet that is not being used and it's child safe. That it's easy, fairly easy for an adult to pull out, but a child cannot pull it out very easily at all, if at all. And so I put these in every property I design that is trying to attract families. Next, this might come as a surprise, but I use rubber gloves a lot when I'm doing installations. Here's the reason. I love a nice thick leather work glove, but I cannot feel through in my fingers what's going on underneath. And oftentimes you do need to be holding, a little screw and you need to feel it. However, sometimes those little screws have sharp edges. Well, a rubber glove will keep your skin safe from getting cut by any sharp edges. I can't tell you the number of times before I just started using simple rubber gloves that I would get cut by, a little razor blade that came with to open up the package, or especially the most painful has been getting cut by edges of cardboard boxes. That's just a rough cut and it hurts a lot. Rubber gloves have solved that for me. So I highly recommend just some rubber gloves. Okay, also what I take to every install are a few extra light bulbs. I take them in a few different sizes. I have a few different sizes in here just in case, some lamps don't come with light bulbs like they usually do. Then I have some backup. Okay, next. This is something I really love, and it is a cleaning and patch kit. So, like cleaning, I use Goo Gone on adhesive. It gets off like stickers and those really hard to remove tape, little tape things that are sometimes on furnishings. This gets it right off and it doesn't damage any furniture. So Goo Gone, I actually got this from the dollar store like a year and a half ago. So, and it still lasted. It's a small container, but a little goes a long way. I use it in every installation. Also in my cleaning kit is a magic eraser. Magic erasers really are magic. However, be careful as you use them when you're cleaning a wall because they can scratch into the wall. So just use it really lightly and then follow that. After you use the magic eraser, follow that with a couple of nice swipes of just a dampened cloth to kind of smooth it all out. So a magic eraser, and this is well used. Again, you're getting the real me here. Another thing in the cleaning kit is some nice spackle, and you can see when this is dry because it goes from blue to white. Okay, and for sure when you use spackle, you have to, smooth it out with a little bit of sandpaper. And this has a cup, it's really comfortable to hold. It's made of a sponge, but then with sandpaper wrapped around it. And the red side here is a more fine sandpaper. The green side is a more rough sandpaper. So really handy to use. Okay, the next thing I use are furniture markers. Now, how these work is they actually have a little bit of stain built in, but you use it like a marker. And it's just so easy for, like a piece of furniture to come and it rubs out of the box and it's been rubbing in the box during shipment and it comes with a little bit of the stain rubbed off. Well, This comes with all kinds of colors of stain, and you can just run it along where the furniture has had that little nick or a little scrape. And it just fixes it up. It looks like new again. Okay. All right. And then for sure, Windex wipes too. This is just really handy to use to wipe a window or the tabletop, anything shiny. This won't leave any streaks. It's a really good tool to have. I think that's it for the cleaning kit. Okay, next, I have what's called museum wax. So this is like when you don't want something to tip over or to slide or to be moved. So if you, for instance, maybe you lean a small piece of art against on top of your mantle against the wall. Well, you can put a little bit of this museum wax like along the edge of or the bottom edge of that art and it won't move. So you take this little paddle, you just scrape a little bit out, take it in between your fingers and shape it to what you want it to be, like that, and put it on the bottom of the frame and the frame will not move. It's really nice. It's really magical. And it's clear, so it will never show up. Museum wax. Next, absolutely what you need is an art hanging kit. Now, if you are not comfortable with hanging art, definitely hire a professional art installer because you do not want art to be falling off the walls. But as something as simple in a pinch, if you just want to hang a light piece of art, an art hanging kit like this from any big box store, Home Depot, Lowe's, they will have a nice art hanging kit like this. And that's the main thing. Of course, also a hammer and your measuring tape to make sure everything is neatly centered. Okay, something you might not have seen before is a tissue box cover. So I actually have one here on my side table. What it does is it, in a really beautiful way, covers and hides your tissue box. But everybody knows it's tissues because the tissues stick out the top. But it's very easy to use. You just stick the tissue box inside. This bottom portion opens up and seals or hooks back in with Velcro. I just think there's that when you see this in an online photo, just the tissue box, it is so distracting. The garish colors never go with the decor. So I definitely recommend for every box of tissues. They come in this taller kind of cube shape, and they also come in a longer flat shape for those longer, flatter boxes of tissues. And they are magical. Next, what I bring is a variety of different tape. And I keep this Sharpie stuck on. I'll show you why in a minute. It's packing tape, red duct tape, and carpet tape. Okay, so the carpet definitely helps, with keeping carpet down, of course. You can just put some adhesive, kind of like I usually do a 90-degree angle of adhesive on the edge of a carpet that I want to make sure will stay down. And that typically does keep it down really well. Sometimes carpet tape will wear and won't work so well anymore. But by that time, the carpet is most likely just already laying down and you don't have, it's not an issue again. And you can't always replace that tape anyway. When I have seen it in person, it seems to last 3 or 4 months under a carpet from what I've seen. Packing tape is always good for, just all purpose. Ooh, I also have some acid-free tape that is double-sided, and this is great for art. If I need to hang a simple print, I do not want that print turning yellow. If you use regular tape, you'll see the little yellow strips behind it as it ages. If you use acid-free tape, you'll never see it aging and it will always stay in place. Next, I keep a Sharpie with red duct tape. And why is that? Red duct tape is so awesome for labeling your remote controls. And it seems like every every STR I design has at least three remote controls, in a family room. And in order to help cleaners put them back where they belong and also help those remotes not get taken away by any guests, putting a sign on the back of the remote will help a lot with that. So, red duct tape and a Sharpie. Okay, another thing that I take with me to every installation day is a sheet of paper. And it tells anybody who is coming to help you with installation what to do and how it should look when it's done. So I take a picture of, the schematic of how the room will look. And then I list the tasks that need to be done. I often call a room according to its color. Often there will be a predominant color like green or blue. This is for a blue bedroom I installed lately or recently. And this is the sheet that I took. So I have everything written out and I just make the big list and I refer to this picture as I'm doing it of everything that needs to get done. And then I put a number beside it so that people know how difficult it is to install that particular item. Like stuffing pillows and arranging them on the bed, that's maybe a level 1. Whereas putting in, curtains, that's probably more like a level 4. And that lets people know if, you know, don't try to tackle this if you're not used to it, or maybe get a second person and you can work on it together. At the bottom, I list out the things I want to do myself. I always hang the art myself, and then I often will place rugs so that I know that they're right in the right spot. And then I tape this onto the door jamb of every door. So anybody coming in or out, they can use it. And then we have lots of pencils around, and I just have people put a check mark beside when they finish that task. Okay, I think that that is basically everything. That's everything I have in my bag. I'm trying to think, did I take anything out and not replace it? But I don't think so. I think this is fully stocked. I go through it about every other week, especially when I'm in a high season like this where I'm decorating and installing a lot. I will, as I said before, I will link in the description to all of these items that I use, especially these unusual ones, like the tissue holder, so that you can also get those if you would like. Ooh, one more thing I did use and need to replace, and that's a first aid kit. Now, this might sound overprepared, but it is a must-have because install days can be brutal. You're unpacking those cardboard boxes. You can cut your hand on the cardboard and moving furniture, climbing ladders. All of that means that small injuries are inevitable. Paper cuts, splinters, blisters, or even a skinned knee. So having some Band-Aids, antiseptic wipes, and ibuprofen on hand does save time and keeps the day running smoothly. Nothing kills momentum like realizing that you have a little spot of blood on a new bedspread because of a rogue razor that you didn't see and you just accidentally cut your skin there. So I've been there. Never again. Now, the best part about having a well-stocked installation kit is that it gives you peace of mind. You know that no matter what comes up, you can handle it. And that's what separates a rushed, stressful install where you're leaving constantly trying to go get supplies you don't have. It separates that type of install day to one that feels smooth and professional. Now, if you're an STR owner doing your own setup, investing in these simple items, you'll find it's a game changer. It helps you finish strong, protect your property, and make sure that every detail is guest ready. Now, remember, every perfect stay, every great review, every rebook, it all starts with design that's done right. Design how your property looks in online photos is the first line of contact with a potential guest. And this all comes as well from the behind the scenes work. All right, remember, this is part 1 of these 3 podcasts all about how to do a really professional and nice, efficient installation. Look for those podcasts as soon as they come out. I will link them in the description and also try to put them on the screen here somewhere. I think YouTube has a way to do that, so I'll do that for you too. Thank you for being here today. Remember, I will link my favorite versions of these products in the description box so that you can build your own amazing install day kit. And here's to decorating properties that pay you back. I look forward to talking again next time.